on the Big Toe Radio Show. Big Toe. Hello there, it's David here to tell you about today's special Sunday story. It's The Lost Boys Appreciation Society by Alan Gibbons. The author is an award-winning writer of stories for teenagers who tackles difficult issues, and this book is no exception. The Lost Boys Appreciation Society is about John, who's 16. His mother dies in tragic circumstances. The story looks at how her death affects him and his younger brother Gary. While John tries to cope, Gary goes off the rails and starts to become involved in illegal activities, underage drinking, drugs and joyriding. Can John help Gary come to his senses, and how will he cope with his own grief? The Lost Boys Appreciation Society is at times a sad story. Just before 6, we'll be giving out a helpline number if you've been affected by what you've heard. The story's read by Raymond Quinn.
It started with a phone call. Quite how long it had been ringing before I heard it, I'm not too sure. Oh, Gary had just been flicking cold baked beans at me and skipped out of reach as I took a swipe at him. I seemed to understand right away that the call was urgent. "Give over," I said. "Can't you hear the phone ringing?" Gary could hear the phone ringing all right, just didn't care. That's the way it was with our Gary. He never knows when to stop. Flicked another cold lump of beanie gunge in my direction, spattered it all over my new top. Well, that did it. I sprang at him, but my legs suddenly stiffened, and I pitched forward and fell flat on my face. Gary had tied my shoelaces together, without me noticing. How does he do that? I didn't even feel it. "How old are you?" I yelled. "That's a stupid kid's trick." "Gary, will you get that?" Gary just laughed. The spectacle of me rolling about like an untamed beetle was far more entertaining than something as mundane as answering the phone. Dad came stamping downstairs. "Didn't either of you hear that?" he grumbled. "I was up in the loft trying to find your mum's sewing machine before she gets home." "I heard it," I snapped, "but El Divo here tied my shoelaces together." Dad was still barking at us when somebody spoke at the other end. There was a sound like something bursting, imploding, but far away, as though somebody had pulled the plug on the day. The anger flash had drained out of Dad's face, replaced by a blank pallor. Like horror. "Say that again." "Dad?" He held up his hand. His Adam's apple was working in his throat as if he was choking noiselessly. Suddenly, as if it had been whispered in my ear by some evil spirit, I knew exactly what the call was about. I don't remember much about that day. I remember that me and our Gary were sitting in front of the TV. We didn't watch it like. We were too broken, too torn up inside for that. Eventually Gary spoke. I was acting a fool. Mum was dying and I was acting a fool. Then I had the same picture, the two of us wrestling around like a pair of prize idiots while Mum lay broken against the steering wheel. Days later, we were sitting in church, heads bowed. There were red roses everywhere. Here flowers. They played Mum's favourite song, The Story of the Blues, and Heart as Big as Liverpool. Music that was like her. Then Pete Wiley, the lead singer, sang this one line. "And I am not alone." And I am not alone. And I am not alone. I crumpled, tried to fight back the tears. It was true in one way. We weren't alone. We had each other. We were surrounded by uncles, aunts, cousins, grandparents. Plus, I had a purpose. Always had. Mum had showed me how to make my own way. But Dad and Gary were useless without her. Whenever she was away, even for a day, Dad trailed round the house pining. How was he going to cope now? And as for our Gary, he lived for the moment, but suddenly every moment was empty. In the days after the death, he couldn't find anyone else who really mattered. One evening, the three of us were just sitting, not speaking, in the kitchen. The radio was on, an old Holly's hit from the 60s. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. Funny thing about music, the way it speaks your thoughts for you. I looked at Gary and made my decision. However much I was hurting, I was going to swallow it down and be there for our Gary. He needed me.